Hey everyone, Cerise here. So, I just wanted to show you my breakfast and part of the healthy eating in the morning. Here's an omelet with some green pepper, red pepper, mushroom, onion and garlic, some arugula with plum tomatoes, and also some blue cheese. And let me get a little piece of avocado. Where is that avocado? Come here, avocado. There we go. Look at that. Delicious. Did I lose my cheese? I lost my cheese somewhere. How's that? And with a dab of fresh pumpernickel bread. Oh guys, I changed the color in my bedroom. I changed it from pink up there. Those were the old bedding. I went and I bought some red curtains and put it with the silver. Same thing here, red and silver. This is silver as well, so it matches nicely. And my bed is silver and black. So I just need to... Now, the reason why I did it like this is because I'm going to be renting this out as an Airbnb eventually. And so the pink just really wasn't matching very nicely. And with this here, pops with this here. You see, right here is my living room, bedroom. So it has that black and white and red theme, but it also has the contrast that flows nicely. Okay guys, I just wanted to tell you guys today, my video is going to be about people that come to the Dominican Republic. Gino's here. And what is he cooking? I cooked myself breakfast today, and Gino cooked this for him and Noche. Look at it, she's just waiting on the floor. So guys, what I wanted to talk about today was about people who come to the Dominican Republic and all they do is criticize Dominicans. They're here, they're living here, they're in the culture, they have been accepted, you know, they're expats, and all they do is want to complain about the Dominican Republic people. And I always find it really interesting because I'll never hear a Dominican person say, look at that crazy Canadian drunk killing these people. Because a lot of Canadians and a lot of Americans, a lot of North Americans and Europeans will come here and they get to drinking. They rent a moped and then they speed down the entire highway going really fast because they can drink and drive and no speed limit. So they go way too far with it. Look at that stir fry of sausage. It's a little hot, sweetheart. You'll get it in a second, my love. So, oh, she's digging right in, hot or not. Oh my, she loves it. Look how chunky it is. She eats very well. Like that's Gino pretty much gave her half of his breakfast. And you saw exactly half. So she eats very well. I'm very proud of this little girl right here. She's my new best friend for sure. But anyway, guys, speaking of eating, so yeah, I noticed that a lot of people will come here and it's a lot of expats and they'll say these Dominican people, all they want to do is this, all they want to do is that. This is a developing country. Sure, it might not be a third world country. There's a lot of opportunities growing here. But very rarely do I hear Dominican people put down foreigners. They will say something like, oh, you know, that person's cheap. Or that gringa doesn't like to pay. Like they'll say that about some gringo women at the bar if they don't tip. You know, stuff like that. But that's because the Dominican person is working for their tip. And there's no government assistance here. for children, no welfare system. So moms that are working in the bar, instead of making what they would consider easy money prostituting, they feel like, throwing a little tip. Because that's what they're working for, tips. Just like home in Canada, right? People who are working for tips. So anyway, that's the worst I will hear a Dominican say about a foreigner, that they're cheap. But I hear so many bad things being said about Dominican Republic people. Even the video before this one that I put up about that lady who came to my apartment unannounced and was quite rude. Even she said, and I quote her, she said, "Oh, I date a Dominican, but he's not like a Dominican." What does that mean exactly? That he's not a gold digger? Because I know many people back in Canada who are gold diggers, and women who won't even go on a date with a man unless he's paying for it. And if she does have to dig in her pocket, I'm talking about Canada, if she does have to dig in her pocket, all she will do is complain about it afterwards. "Oh, he was so cheap. Oh my gosh, I had to pay for my own meal. I don't like him because he's just too cheap." Or, "He took me to McDonald's, didn't even take me to a nice restaurant." What's that? How is that so different from Sankey Panky? Sankey Panky, for those of you who don't know, is a terminology for men that use women or women that use men, right? They're just in the relationship for money and to get what they can get out of the person. Well, I have seen here and witnessed, since I've been here in almost a year, people fall in love. I have seen, a couple get together and all of a sudden the guy falls in love with the chick, and you can see that he does love her. He's taking care of her, and yes, obviously he's taking care of her with her own money. So he's making sure that she has a drink on the table. He's like her, he becomes like her esclavo, in my opinion. So yeah, he might have started out as Sankey Panky, but now he becomes her esclavo, her pool boy, her slave. And that really cannot be any better. That trade-off is what a lot of people do want here. And again, I'll get more into that. But in April 16th. But just here, what I want to say right now is I'm so surprised by the amount of foreigners that are so critical about a country's people, but yet they want to stay in the country. And Gino and I were discussing that this morning, and Gino was just like, "I know, but what can we do? We rely on tourism, and we love foreigners. We like them. We're used to them. But yes, you're right." He's like, sometimes they don't know how to control themselves. They're driving down the highway at night, and they rent a pasola, which is a moped, and there's many accidents. And when they drive like that, they put other people at risk as well. So you have people who are genuinely working night shift as a motor concho, taking a customer from the club 12 o'clock at night or 2 o'clock in the morning. And the customer is probably drunk and moving from side to side on the bike, causing the bike to be unstable. But the motor concho driver is like a taxi driver, so he has to be patient and also be experienced to make sure that bike doesn't tip over or anything of that nature. So then he's trying his hardest to get himself to Cabarete with his client, and then successfully gets there, and then speeds back from, not speed necessarily, but quickly drives back from Cabarete to get back to the club in El Bate. But because he knows the roads, he can drive a little bit more quickly. But then all of a sudden, because there's someone on the other side of the road who's drunk and a foreigner and doesn't realize there's potholes in the road and doesn't go by the speed limit and doesn't realize they're drunk, will just go off course and boom, smash into, it could even be a tree, and then his bike smashes into the motor concho or anything like that. I'm just giving you guys one little example of something that I've heard a lot here. Secondly, a lot of people who live here, they will say, "Be careful of the Dominicans. Be careful of the Dominicans." My gosh, we could say that about any race. It's just that there is a more concentrated race of Dominicans here. Obviously, it's the Dominican Republic. In Canada, because we're so multicultural, we don't have one race to say, be careful of this, be careful of that. But there are certain stigmas that people place on other people, like prejudices. Like, I've heard ever since I was a little girl in Toronto, oh, the Chinese people all own the corner stores. Now I'm hearing, oh, the Indian people all own the dollar stores. And it's like, okay, like, why do we need to talk that way? Like, okay, maybe we're drawing comparisons or whatever. Anyway, all I'm saying is when you come into a country, do exactly like what you would do in Rome. Live as the Romans do. Don't come into a country just because it's a developing country. These people don't need to beg for your services. These people don't need to beg for your money. Respect them the same way you would at home. I found myself doing almost the same thing because I would, back home, let's say I would go to a bar with a couple of friends. The bill would come up to $60 or something like that. And we would tip, $5 or something if it was only drinks, no food. We're just having a few drinks, a few friends of mine. Well, we, tip $5 or whatever. That would be considered cheap to some people. But now let's say here, I found myself tipping, like on no matter what, 100 pesos, 50 pesos, that's $2, a buck. And I'm like, why am I doing that? Gino taught me that. Gino said, you know what, don't tip too much because then you become a target. So he said, 50 pesos is good. You don't want to give them more than what their nightly shift is, right? If I give a $10 tip or a $5 tip, he's like, that's pretty much their whole shift. And he's like, you don't want to become a target. He said, yes, it's nice to be kind, but you also have to be mindful of putting yourself out there. He said it's unfortunate, but that's one thing. In the Dominican Republic, people need money. And if you come to a country to save money because you don't have a good standard of income yourself, then put yourself in people's shoes who live here and don't even have toilet paper, rice. There are a few people like that each day that have to go day by day and wait to see what God is providing for them each day. So be mindful. You're coming to a country with very little money to live very meagerly, and that's awesome for you to be able to have that opportunity. But also keep in mind that there are people who live here already, and they've been living off the bare essentials since birth and cannot leave to go to another country to find that better standard of living for their dollar. You get what I mean? So all I'm saying, guys, and those of you who have been guilty of that yourself, once in a while, kick in a little bit more of a tip if you can, especially if the same waiter or waitress is taking care of you all the time and does a very good job and they're honest. Kick in a little bit more every now and again. You don't have to do it all the time. 100 pesos is fair. 50 pesos is fair. You don't have to do it every day. But what I do now once in a while is I will put him, 150, 200 pesos. And, sometimes I will. Like yesterday, I was out and the other day the bank machines weren't working. And so I couldn't get money to go to a restaurant that I like to eat lunch at. Well, Gino said to me, go eat there. You go there all the time. Just tell Elsa that the bank machines aren't working and she'll give you it on credit. And I was like, oh, no, I can't do that. And he's like, go. And so I went and she did, right? Gino came with me. And Gino said to her, tell Cerise that anytime she needs something and she doesn't have the money on her at the moment, you will give it to her and she can pay you back. And Elsa looked at me in Espanol, and she said, you can have anything here. You want to drink up all the beer, eat up all the food, you can, anything you want, it's yours. That's it. And I was like, oh my gosh, thank you. And she did. She gave that food to me, and we had a few drinks, and the next day, something happened. I don't know. But we didn't make it to her back in time. But like back in the morning. I told her I'd be there in the morning. We got there in the evening time, and her food, because she's such a good cook, is usually gone by like 1 o'clock in the afternoon, because she cooks lunches for people at her restaurant, which is like right across the street. I don't know if we can see it from here. No, Shay didn't eat too much. So anyway, yeah, the next day I went to the restaurant in the evening time. I wanted to buy food too, just so I can thank her and stuff like that. But we got there and that was it. I gave her some money. I gave her 1,000 pesos. And the bill didn't come up to 1,000 pesos, but I gave her an extra tip because she was so kind to me and so nice to me for that day. The bank machines weren't working. We went all the way to El Bate. And we literally only had 50 pesos, 100 pesos on us. And that was for gas. So, that's what happened. The next day was a Sunday, because this happened on Saturday. The next day was a Sunday, and the bank machines still weren't open. This was just last Sunday. So we had to use the Gino's, actually, last 100 pesos, to go all the way to Cabarete. And we risked it. We were like, oh my gosh. And I was like, do you have enough gas to get back to El Bate, if anything? And he's like, don't worry about it. I can get money from somewhere. But you know, I really needed to get to the bank machine to buy bare essentials and stuff. And so, yeah, that was it. And Elsa was there for me. And that's exactly what the Dominicans do. Anything I need, I can go to any house. It's really like back in the day. If you need sugar and milk, rice, beans, if they have it, they'll give it. Like they really will. And they're so kind here and giving, and that's how they live, hand to mouth and very family-like. And so, you know, a lot of us from North America, we are not raised with that concept. I'm talking about the newer generation, but people who are like 65, 70, that are coming down here and retiring, you were raised with that concept. So take it easy, because it is a lot of the older people who are unhappy. And I find it's a lot of the older men, not the women. Okay, so I'm just going to call it out how it is. A lot of miserable old men who were down here. They came down for the women. They realized that, you know, the women aren't into them for anything except a good buck. And then they become, you know, either senile, mean, or just, you know, angry and resentful, and that's about it. And I understand, because a lot of times I hear men that come here for love, they're like, oh my gosh, as soon as the deed is done, because they'll get a woman out from El Bate, and they're like, they know she's a prostituta, and then they'll say, oh my gosh, but still, as soon as the sex is done, she gets up and goes. Like, there's no romance. There's no touching, no kissing. I'm tired of it. I'm sick of it. That's what a lot of the men say to me. And a lot of them are very open. They're like, Cerise, you know, I came here. Yeah, I'm sure. I know they're hookers and stuff, but like prostitutes. But still, when they get up, they go, well, what do you want her to do? She's a prostitute and she's making money. You paid her. You paid her for a job. You're not paying her for her time. $20. You think that's going to pay for a woman's time? That's for a job. And whether that job is done in 20 minutes, or whether that job is done in, I don't know how long they stay, but you got to pay them. That's what they are getting paid to do. So a lot of men will complain and be like, oh no, she didn't even do her job. She didn't even go do this or do right. You know what? You took that chance with her, just like you would take a chance with a mechanic, just like you would take a chance with a flight, traveling somewhere. You take chances in life. And when you do find that one woman that does please you and does give you that extra little time, give her that extra little money. Excuse me. Don't be, hello, my love. Don't be stingy yourself. I hear that a lot from prostitutes as well. They'll say, oh my gosh, he's so cheap. And some men are. They don't realize that a woman is giving away a large part of her pride, her just her passion and everything just for $1, you know, like $20 for sex is what I heard some guys are paying women, and they're like, oh yeah, that's good. And they go through all the women and they pick which one they like the best. They call her up when they're on their way down here, and some of the men are very generous. They call the same girl every year. They come down and they have her for a whole week, 9 days, 10 days, 1 month, 3 months, no matter how long they're here for. And they like to have the one girl, and they pay for her children to be at a babysitter, or they get a 3-bedroom villa where the children can be with the mom. And that's very regular down here. And some men are very generous to these women. Very generous. Oh my gosh. But I find it's the ones that have come and stayed. Not come for 3 months and go home for 6. It seems like a lot of them, they have a rejuvenation when they go back home and they start to miss the Dominican Republic. And then when they get back, they're refueled, rejuvenated. And then they're like, oh yeah, like I forgot how much I love this girl. You know, let me treat her really good. And they go back home again. But the ones that live here, I find, become very resentful, and they get very tired of the people themselves. And I would just say, guys, be mindful that you are in a country that is not your own. You are in a country that you should really respect people the way you want to be respected. And think, if someone went to your country in droves, you know, let's say wherever you're from, and people just started to invade your place because it's beautiful, but those people come and go, come and go, come and go, and you're like, wow, how lucky are they? And you can't even leave your own place. You're going to start thinking, well, what can I get out of the people that's coming? Because they're coming with stuff from around the world, and they must have stuff. They must have money. They're staying in beautiful hotels. They can afford 500 pesos. They don't realize that everybody else is asking you for 500 pesos. They really don't realize that. They just feel fortunate themselves at that moment to be able to get what they can get out of you, because you now become an opportunity for them to eat, for them to, you know, provide for their families even. But I'm going to get more into that. My April 16th video is not just going to be one video, guys, because I'm going to make a video about relationships, a video about businesses, a video about people who I've met here, and also, and like nothing serious about people who I met here. I mean, just the type of people who I met here, and interesting people. And also, I'm going to be making a video about moving and expenses and all that stuff. And so, yeah, it's going to be like, I would say, a 4-part series. But I already made like a little note right here. Let me see if I can find the note. I made a little note right here of some of the things that I'm going to be talking about. Is it here? No, that's not it. I don't know where it is. Oh, here it is. Oh, I happen to open right up to the page. So I'm going to be talking about Sankey Panky and gold diggers, and oh my gosh, a lot of stuff, private stuff about my relationship with Gino, and I'm going to get deep, and he knows that. I told him I'm going to be talking about money and Sankey Panky and everything about our relationship, what happened, and who got involved and stuff like that. And I'm going to be very forward. So that's going to be in a month from now. I just wanted to say before that, though, guys, you know, be very careful and very mindful of how you treat people in their own country, and try not to be too critical, and try not to be, you know, too cheap. I know you want to keep your money in your pocket, and I know that foreigners are always thought about being rich, but even just once in a while, giving a little bit more to that server, even once a month. Your pension check comes in once a month, give a little bit more to her, and that will last for an entire month of service, because they highly appreciate even just 50 pesos here. There's a guy at the grocery store that we go to, the Colmado, and one day Um, Gino gave him 50 pesos. And oh my gosh, after that, the guy has served us like kings and queens. 50 pesos. And it doesn't, and that was one day ago. I'm not talking about like he does it every time we go there. He did it one time. And the guy just serves us hand and foot. He can't even wait to serve us. Hey, Gino, remember that guy at the Colmado that you gave like 50 pesos to?
Oh, my friend. Now he's my friend.
Now he's your friend, but every time we go into that Colmado,
We go
boom, immediately.
straight.
What do you want? And you're like, oh, she wants soursop or she wants avocado.
The other day, yesterday, I said to him, "What about this orange?" He said to me, "No, don't take it."
Don't take it.
Because those oranges,
I heard, because I was
Yeah.
touching the oranges at the time.
And I gave him 50 pesos 1 month ago.
1 month ago, yeah.
He
When
continued to be cool with me.
Yeah, because it
But
was
he
1 month
thinking-
ago that I moved here.
Yeah, because he thinking we're gonna give him 50 more every time I go.
Right.
What happened? He go like that.
But
The day
but
he
you
don't-
didn't. But you didn't, and that was a
No.
month ago, and
The day
he
we-
still serves us. But top up every now and again is what I'm
The
saying.
day we don't wait, I say, take it 50 more.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. Top up every
Exactly.
now and again. 50 pesos is $1 American approximately. And
Yes,
people,
$1.
that's a lot to you guys here, right?
50 pesos, no, it's too loud. But 50 pesos, sometimes you need 50 pesos for taking one more concho here to Sosua. You don't have it, you have to go to the beach. Because you work, but you receive money every week, every 15
But what I'm
days.
saying is, with a $1 here, 50 pesos, you can do a lot with that.
50 pesos, you can buy 1 pound rice.
1 pound rice,
Yeah.
and that would feed how many
You
people?
can buy 2 eggs
2 eggs.
and 1 little packet oil.
Wait, with 50 pesos,
Yeah,
you can buy all that?
yeah. 25 pesos rice,
25 pesos rice,
5 pesos 1 egg. You buy 2 eggs.
5 pesos 1 egg, so that's
15
10
pesos
for oil.
1 oil. You remember
There you
that?
go. So for
So
$1,
2-3 people can eat.
2-3 people
Two
can eat.
people can eat very well.
2 people can eat very well with
But the people
50
say
pesos.
when you eat rice and eggs, the people say, that's poor people. Only poor people eat that.
Only
Or
poor
rice."
people. Well,
Yeah.
it's still good because you put some
Yeah.
eggs and crazy rice together for me the other night, and that
Remember
tasted
that?
good. You're like, you like to eat like the poor people in
I
Dominican
love
Republic.
rice and beans.
Yeah.
I love eggplant and rice.
Right.
Eggplant, you know,
Yeah.
and rice,
And we
I
don't,
love it.
and you and I don't eat extravagantly. We eat
We eat
very cheaply
and
and
very healthy.
very healthy. And so, you see, guys, 50 pesos, you just heard what 50 pesos could
With
do
100 pesos, you can do
with 100 pesos, rice and chicken.
rice and chicken.
With
You
100
buy 1
pesos.
pound rice, it's 25 pesos.
Right.
You can buy 10 pesos for tomato, 10 pesos onion, right?
Onion, tomato, okay.
10 pesos tomato, 10 pesos onion. If you want to put onion or tomato,
Right.
I love with tomato and cilantro
Okay.
and garlic.
Okay.
If you buy 25 pesos rice, it's 1 pound.
Mm-hmm.
It's good for 2-3 people.
Right.
You buy 10 pesos cilantro, 10 pesos garlic, and 10 pesos onion.
Mm-hmm.
Plus 25, 55, right?
Mm-hmm.
You can buy 1 sopita.
Mm-hmm.
That's 60,
Mm-hmm.
right? You can buy 15 pesos oil.
Mm-hmm.
And you have how much? 25
That's,
pesos,
yeah.
right?
Still have 25 pesos left. See, guys, so, you know, we have to really focus
That is the way
on,
to look at
hey,
Cerise.
hey, excuse me. Every single lime is
Oh,
gone.
because they go like stinking. I put it in the
I had beautiful, I put it in the garbage. I have beautiful limes there picked right from the tree.
We go
Yeah.
take a couple more.
Oh, yeah, yeah, okay.
So let me
So-
tell you something, mommy. Come.
But,
I do the rice and chicken with that sauce on it. Many people in Dominican Republic use more.
right,
Many people use less.
Right.
I try to make a
right, you do it very
no
well.
Salsa, no tomato
Right.
sauce, you know.
Exactly.
I put a little brown sugar and a little,
Yep,
maybe
and you
little
make it
lemon.
good. And At the end of the day, you're getting a really good meal and you're providing for your family. So, guys, now that you heard what 50 pesos could do to feed a family, two people at least, and what they do with it, imagine what you could do if you gave them 200 pesos. That's around 4 American bucks. You could be feeding a family for 4 days. You know, think about that. Um, so a lot of us are cheap when we come here because we're coming here for that. So like, for instance, my rent is really cheap. My rent is 140 bucks a month, like 7,000 pesos, right? 130, 140, 140, let's say, USD. So I'm saving there, but I'm saving money right now because I want to go to Colombia and Haiti. And I want to make sure that, everything's all right and I have my residency before I go. So I'm working on my residency right now. I should have that in the next few months. And then by that time, I want to go to Colombia for a month. So I like to save and I like to be able to, rub a couple of bucks together when I'm in another country. So that's what I'm saving for now. But it doesn't mean I'm going to be cheap and not and just give someone a 25 peso tip, a 50-cent tip. No, I'm going to give them 50 pesos, 100 pesos, 150, 200, because again, it can feed them. But every now and again, I do like to just on the down low, give like 300 pesos, which is $6, and it still doesn't sound like a lot because a lot of us, we tip way more in North America. Even 18%, 15% tax is put on the prices and everything. So we're really accustomed to spending a lot more when we go out for dinner. But please, when you're here and you go out for dinner, think about the people who are serving. They're not getting paid, and most of the time they're relying on tips. So try not to be so cheap. Try not to be so judgmental, and try not to behave like you are better because you come from a more developed country. This is a developing country. It's not a third world country. People can provide for themselves here, and they do very good at that. People work very hard. People even wake up really early in the morning. Some men who don't work and they look like they're hanging out on the streets, but they're waiting for someone to walk by to let them know about a job that's coming up, whether it's construction, painting, whatever they're good at. They know if they're on the corner, waiting to hear word of work, then most likely they will be chosen. So that's that. I just wanted to say that. I heard that. I don't know how true it is, but I heard that from somebody here. What else? I think that's about it. Try not to put down people in their own country. Please, just live and let live. Don't criticize people due to their circumstances. They want money from you because they don't have pensions like you do and you're living here off them. They didn't have the work opportunity that you had when you were younger in order for you to get that pension. And a lot of them find opportunity in tourists, whether it's leaving the country, helping their business grow, or even helping them get food on their plate. So please, if you are that person and you are guilty of now living in the country and hating on the people, please turn your heart, turn a new leaf, start looking at them innocently again. You might have been scammed, you might have been tricked, but you at least learned from the lesson and you also became stronger from it. The scams are another thing I'm going to talk about during my series of videos, and I don't think they are all cracked out to be what people try to say. I know a lot more scams going on in Toronto, and I'm going to do a lot of comparison of North America to where I'm at right now in the Dominican Republic too, because in North America you will find a lot more scams. Here they're just coming out now with the bank card scam. They had that in Toronto 10 years ago almost. You know what I'm saying? and less, like 5 years ago, 3 years ago, whatever. And now they're doing that here. But we should always be mindful anyway of our bank card, and we should always be mindful of people always trying to scam us, no matter where we are. So I'm going to debunk a lot of those scams, and I'm going to debunk a lot of the fear that you guys have. And I'm not going to try to instill fear in you guys to try to, make you mindful. No, I'm just going to keep it real with you guys on that video. Treat people how you want to be treated. Keep your mind on your own business and mind your own business, and other people don't have to mind it for you. And if there's anything that has to happen, that anything goes down, have a handful of good Dominicans around you that you can trust. And that's it. Like back home, you just have to have a handful of good people around you all the time, right? Okay, guys. I have had a lot of people contact me that are coming down here with children, and they're asking, is it safe for your children to be raised here? It's a beautiful place. Please look at my videos of Isla Academy, and it is located in Playa Laguna, just maybe about a 5-minute drive from El Bate. And it's also accessible from Guagua, which is a bus, and also they can just walk down a little hill after that. And also the kids can get there. A lot of kids go to school on their own in that area as well. So check out Playa Laguna, Isla Academy. It's quite cheap. It's $5,000, I think, for each kid a year, or $5,500 a year for each kid. There are some schools here that are $20,000 for each kid a year, which can be expensive, and then there's some that are free. My friend Grecia here in the Dominican Republic, natural-born Dominican, she said there's actually a free school here where I live in Los Jaramicos, and all you have to do is get the uniforms. So there are options for moms and dads and families that are coming down here looking for schools, and there's also a huge homeschool community as well. People homeschool their kids, and then they all communicate with each other and hang out with each other too. So that's another option. But guys, there's also a lot of questions too about healthcare. I will cover that in my 9th month video, and it really depends on how old you are and how much healthcare you need. And there's so many other questions, but keep on asking them, because I'm here. Give me a shout, 829-702-7726. Give me a shout on WhatsApp. And you can check out my services at www.cerisefairfax.com. Look on my DR services link, and you will find that I help out with airport pickups, helping you find apartments, villas, houses, land, also shopping if you need any shopping done. And because there's a lot of good prices in the colmados and the countryside where you can get organic fruits, organic vegetables, and also support the local farmers. And I also help people get residency. You can get residency from 6 to 10 months, which is $1,500, or you can get residency for in 45 days, which is $3,500. So I'm going to eat the rest of my breakfast here because I am starving. This pumpernickel with blue cheese is just looking so delicious. But guys, I really just wanted to, talk about that, because Gino and I were just talking about it now, and I was like, Gino, I really do love the way the people in your country just accept foreigners so easily, and they hear foreigners talking about them too. Like, foreigners will sit at a bar and talk about Dominicans and say, oh, those Dominicans, blah, 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 blah. And even talk in front of servers that are serving them at the table. And, they'll say it. But at the end of the day, what do? You can just advise people to treat people the way they would like to be treated. And that's it. So this is a public service announcement on the behalf of the Dominican people who accept you into their country, don't mind you in their country, even find half of you very funny, and the other half of you very strange. Maybe not half. But, they deal with people every day coming into their country and breaking the laws and treating people like they're better just because, they come from a more developed country. Or treating people like they're not good enough to be treated well, I should say. But in any case, I hope you guys, some of you guys can find some kind of guilt from this video and just be like, you know what, she is right. I have been feeling lately like I've been too hard on the people. Maybe I should give a little tip more every now and again. And maybe I shouldn't think that every Dominican is just out to get the gringa, you know, because it's not true. It really isn't. I met very, very good people here who don't even want anything from me. And I have to tell them, please just take this 50 pesos, please. And they're like, no, it's okay. Really, I want to do it from my heart. Dios te bendiga. And that means God bless you. And I'm like, wow, but please let me give you something. And they're like, please, I'm good right now. I'm good. You're a good person and I want you to feel comfortable in my country and I want to help you. And then when I feel bad, it's like, why am I feeling bad? Why can't they help me? Why should I assume that everyone wants something? You know, because when I'm in Canada, someone might help me with something. I'll be like, oh my gosh, thank you so much. And if I was to take out money for some of the people, they'd be like, what? No, that's okay. I did it out of kindness, right? And I'm talking about anything, you know, just the slightest thing. A lot of people are like, no, don't mention it. It's okay. But here, it's not often that people will say don't mention it because a lot of people don't have it. But at the same time, we shouldn't assume that there is everybody who's going to say give, give, give. Some people don't. So that's my story. Again, my little rant to let you guys know it's okay to give a little something every now and again. Don't be afraid that you're going to be taken advantage of. But give within reason, and also don't be too generous because then you will get to a point of getting tired. You will get to a point, which I'm going to also talk about too, because I did get to that point of getting tired. And that was another reason Gino and I would have a few discussions. Not arguments, but discussions. We have had a few arguments since the breakup and all that. And, you know, going back and forth about who's right, who's wrong, you know, all that stuff, which is very normal. But we still have been able to hold it down and be best friends. You know, his day off today from motor conchoing. He's going to take me to an appointment at 11:30. I'm going to the beauty salon. And he's going to take me there. And then after that, we're going to go to a place called Piscina Party or something, or Piscina something. And we're going to chill. We were there yesterday. It's just outside of Cabarete. I'm going to talk to my client as I relax on the beach. And that's it. Tomorrow morning, we're going to go to a place called Yasica. Yasica is just outside of, I think, Puerto Plata. Is Yasica outside of Puerto Plata? Gino? Is Yasica outside of Puerto Plata?
The other side.
The other side.
Yeah.
So it's the other side of Puerto Plata. I have never been there yet, but I'm excited to go. And of course, I'm going to video it for you guys and show you all the good stuff about the place. Apparently, it's a beautiful little town with lots of rivers. So, trying to get that piece of bread there. Beautiful little town with lots of rivers. So, we're going to go check it out. So, lots of excitement. You see, we get along great. A lot of you are asking that, but I'll fill you all in so much on my 9-month video about everything. All the questions you have. Details. Okay, I'm going to go now. I am full. I had a delicious breakfast. All this organic food. It's great to live healthy. Have a wonderful day, guys. I'm going to drink the rest of my coffee here, do some dishes, do some writing. You can check me out on Instagram, Cerise Fairfax. You can also check me out on Facebook. I have a group on Facebook called Cerise Fairfax as well. If you're into horoscopes, I write horoscopes, so you guys can check out my horoscopes. And yeah, if you have any questions, comments, or concerns about coming down here, I'm here for you. Alrighty, guys. Take care. CeriseFairfax.com.